Hello everyone, welcome to today's story. The rain had finally stopped. Golden light spilled over the grapefruit fields, where the scent of wet soil lingered like memory. Alex stood by the window, watching sunlight pierce through mist, a quiet hope after endless storms. He should have felt relieved. Work was returning, orders were steady, life was settling again. Yet, deep down, a silence hummed, the kind that only hearts carry when they've hidden something too long. Far away, at the end of the dirt road, Lytuna was walking home with a basket of corn and a sleeping child. Their lives had intertwined like roots beneath the same earth, unseen, but inseparable. And somewhere behind the calm, a pair of eyes watched them with quiet fire. The storm outside had ended, but the storm inside had only just begun. Don't forget to like and subscribe. The truth is just beginning to unfold. The days after the storm blurred into the rhythm of labor. Ms. Lan visited to assess losses. A third of the grapefruit orchards drowned. 70% of the capital vanished. Yet Alex stayed composed. He had learned to hide fear behind a polite nod, the same way he hid affection behind business words. He met Mr. Min at a quiet cafe outside town, sealing a new deal with a handshake that smelled faintly of danger. "We'll continue the plan," Alex whispered later into his phone, his tone soft but cold. No one around him noticed the flicker of exhaustion, except Lytuna. At the farm, she brought warmth where silence lingered. She laughed as baby Henry babbled, offered Alex roasted corn, and spoke of small things, new roofs, dry soil, and how sunlight tasted after rain. Around her, the world slowed, gentle and unguarded. He caught himself smiling, something he hadn't done in months, but peace rarely lasts when the heart begins to feel again. From a distance, Mi watched. Once, she was Alex's shadow, loyal, efficient, invisible. But when she saw him brushing raindrops off Lytuna's hair, something cracked. The sight of his hand, that same hand once guiding her through crowded factories, now holding another woman's world, burned deep. Jealousy in her was quiet and methodical, not the kind that screams, but the kind that plans. That evening, as thunder rolled across distant hills, Mai's lips curved into a cold line. "She doesn't belong in his life," she murmured. "I'll make sure of that." And while the world slept, the line between accident and intention began to blur. It happened on an ordinary evening, the kind when the air smells of dust and sunset. Lytuna finished her shift, humming softly while pushing her bicycle down the road. The basket was filled with corn, and Henry's little shirt lay folded on top, still warm from the afternoon sun. She didn't notice the dark car idling at the curve ahead. The headlights came too fast, too close. Then, silence. Metal, a scream swallowed by rain. The world turned white. When she opened her eyes again, the scent of disinfectant stung her lungs. The ceiling above her was a cold sheet of light. Machines hummed rhythmically, counting seconds she didn't remember losing. Her body ached. Her voice wouldn't come. Then, through the blur, a silhouette appeared, familiar, trembling. Alex. He sat by her bed, eyes rimmed with red, hands gripping the sheets like prayer. "Lytuna," he whispered, voice breaking. "I'm sorry. I was too late." Her gaze drifted toward the window. It was raining again. The sound used to soothe her. Now it hurt. She wanted to ask, "Where were you?" but the question hung unsaid, dissolving between them like fog. He reached for her hand. Cold, hesitant, the same hand that once promised, "I'll never leave." Yet on the day she needed him most, he wasn't there. Behind him, Mi stood in the doorway, holding a bouquet of white lilies. Her expression was gentle, too gentle. "You should rest, Tuna," she said softly. "The world's been cruel enough." Tuna's eyes flicked toward her, a faint recognition piercing through the haze. Something about that voice, calm, precise, almost rehearsed, made her heart tighten. Outside, lightning flickered across the glass. The air smelled of wet earth and secrets. Alex rose, saying he needed a moment. Mi stepped closer, placing the lilies beside the bed. "He's been so worried," she whispered. "But you should know, men like him never stay long. You deserve peace, not illusions." Tuna turned away, but a tear slipped down, hot and silent. That night, as Alex left the hospital, Mi followed him into the rain. Their silhouettes blurred into one shadow under the same umbrella. From her window, Tuna watched, pale, still, breaking. And at that moment, everything changed. The days that followed tasted like cold tea and unfinished words. Tuna recovered slowly, her steps hesitant, her eyes quieter than before. The doctors said she was lucky to be alive. But what does lucky mean when half your heart is missing? Alex visited less. Every visit carried apologies unsaid, concern restrained. He brought fruit, flowers, silence. Once he tried to explain something about a meeting, a call, a deal that couldn't wait. But in Tuna's world, timing had become everything. "You weren't there," she finally whispered. That was all. Mi stayed close, offering help with a sweetness that stung. Sometimes Alex would glance at her and see the faintest glimmer of something dark. But he turned away. It was easier not to question comfort. When Tuna was discharged, the air outside felt heavier. The grapefruit fields were blooming again, golden and fragrant, as if the earth had no memory of pain. But she did. Back at the farm, Henry's laughter filled the quiet rooms. The little boy crawled across the floor, chasing beams of light. Tuna smiled, a fragile thing, made of both sorrow and gratitude. Alex visited once, holding a small box. "A new bed for Henry," he said softly. She nodded, but didn't open it. That night, he stayed a little longer. The rain began again, tapping gently on the tin roof. Between the sound of drops, they sat. Two souls too close to forget, too hurt to begin again. Alex spoke first. "I wanted to protect you. I thought staying away would make things easier." Tuna looked at him. "Easier for who?" The silence between them was heavy but pure, like the space between lightning and thunder. He reached out, but she didn't move. The light from the lamp drew a thin line across her face, half in glow, half in shadow. Finally, she said, "People don't leave because they stop loving. They leave because they're afraid to face what love demands." Alex lowered his gaze. His hand trembled, the same hand that once saved her, the same that let her fall. Outside, Mi watched from the car, her reflection merging with the glass. Plans had a way of spiraling, of consuming their creators. The guilt she thought she wanted to give away now lived inside her. She realized the accident she caused didn't win her Alex's heart. It only showed her how empty hers was. At dawn, the rain stopped. Lytuna walked outside, barefoot, the grass cold and wet. The sun rose shyly behind clouds. She breathed, deeply, slowly, as if learning life again. Alex came to stand beside her. They didn't speak. The world didn't need words this time. He simply placed the box in her hands, then stepped back. Inside was a wooden carving of a mother holding her child, polished smooth, imperfect, made from the same wood his factory once milled before the storm. "Maybe love isn't about staying," he said quietly. "Maybe it's about building something that remains when we can't." Lytuna smiled faintly. For the first time, it reached her eyes. Weeks passed. The grapefruit trees bloomed again, their fragrance drifting through the air like soft forgiveness. Life didn't forget. It simply moved differently now. Me resigned without warning, leaving behind a brief note. I wanted him to see me, but now I only see myself. No one heard from her again. Alex continued his work quietly. Each deal signed, each shipment delivered, felt less like business and more like penance. Sometimes, he would drive by the farm, stop at the fence, and watch Henry chase butterflies in the morning sun. He never crossed the gate. Lytuna built a small stand by the roadside, selling fruit and corn. Her smile was gentle again, not because she forgot, but because she learned to carry pain with grace. One afternoon, as the wind stirred fallen leaves, she found a letter on her doorstep, unsigned but unmistakable in handwriting. There are things we break that no apology can fix, but if love was ever real, it doesn't die. It just changes shape. She folded it carefully, placed it under a pot of yellow daisies, and looked toward the distant hills where the factory chimney smoked faintly against the sky. In that moment, the world was neither happy nor sad, just quiet, the way dusk holds both sunset and night at once. Lytuna lifted Henry into her arms. "Let's go home," she whispered. Behind her, the light bent through the last drops of rain, breaking into a fragile rainbow. Maybe love doesn't end. It just learns to stay differently.
Sau cơn bão, Alex và Tử Na tìm thấy nhau giữa những vết thương của công việc và cuộc đời. Nhưng khi My, cô đồng nghiệp yêu đơn phương Alex, đã chứng kiến họ thân mật, một kế hoạch đen tối bắt đầu. Tử Na bị tai nạn trên đường tan làm. Tỉnh dậy trong bệnh viện thì chỉ thấy Alex, người từng hứa sẽ không rời xa, nhưng lại biến mất mấy hôm nay. Giữa im lặng, dằn vặt và tha thứ, cả hai dần nhận ra tình yêu không phải lúc nào cũng đồng nghĩa với ở lại. Đôi khi cách yêu sâu sắc nhất đó là buông tay, để lại những điều tốt đẹp nhất được hóa thành ánh sáng.